Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
This is Station. I'm ready for the event.
European Space Agency, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, Andre, this is Reinhold Ewald of the European Space Agency. How do you hear me?
I read you 5 by 5, Reinhold. Very good to hear you again.
Same with us, 5 by 5. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm here in Bremen, and you can imagine that in this EADS Astrium facility, a lot of people know as much about Columbus and the space station as you do.
Yes, they know a lot more. And I'm very pleased that I can do this event with Bremen and with you. We're talking a lot with Call CC. Call CC gives my regards to you, and now I'm talking with the people also who created this and with European industry. So that's very nice. But I'm sure people there have more knowledge about this than I do.
Andre, I have with me Mr. Menking, Michael Menking. He's Director of Orbital Systems and Space Exploration of Astrium, and students from secondary school, a gymnasium in Wegesack, that is a part of Bremen, and they will ask the question. So I hand over to Mr. Menking for the first set of questions.
Hello, Andre. Michael speaking.
Very good. I'm pleased
My first question,
to
how many experiments did you conduct up to now? How many experiments did you conduct up to now? How many are planned? And most important, what is the most exciting one for you as an astronaut?
That's hard to keep track because there's a lot of experiments in all the different modules, American, Japanese, and of course here in Columbus. I think I did something like 10 or 11 experiments by now. And there's many more to come. I think in total it's something like 57 or something. It's a lot. Also educational experiments. Very interesting is the experiment that we do actually here with the echo device, where we make recordings of our heart and our blood vessels. And that's, of course, with my background as a medical doctor, very interesting to do and see your how the organs in your body change over time.
One other question: how well do the teams on ground prepare you and support you for your mission in space? That means the main question is for sure: what are the differences or challenges compared to the training you did on ground?
Yeah, the training is very good in all places, in Japan, Canada, America, Russia, and of course at ESC in Cologne. And the one thing that you cannot train for is the microgravity itself, because everything takes more time. Because if you open a box, one of the boxes here, then things explode out. It looks like everything has its own life and wants to go away. That takes time to find your things and to make sure that you don't lose them. So that's the thing. It's experience. You have to be up there, and it takes some time before you can work without losing things.
Hello, Andre. This is Finn. Which supplies does the ATV Pre Eduardo Amaldi carry, and does it carry supplies for the international partners as well?
Yes, well, I'm looking forward to that. Of course, the ATV 3 has a lot of supplies for ESA, but also for the other partners, and that varies from equipment to consumables. So we are awaiting that, all of us. It's the same like the Progress, as the Russian cargo ships. They also bring items, for example, for ESA. Even on my Soyuz flight, we had several pieces of equipment for ESA on board. So we do it all international.
Hi, Andre. This is Talke. So you are a medical doctor. And what effects of microgravity on the human body could you discover? And does the vessel imaging experiment help you finding it out?
Well, that's an interesting question. There are some items, some things that happen very quickly in the beginning of the flight. And that means that there's a fluid shift. You get a full face. The motion sickness is something that happens in the beginning. And then later on, you get effects of long-term duration of weightlessness. That can be on your bones and muscles, but also on the blood vessels. And indeed, vessel imaging is looking at that the thickness of the blood vessels and the behavior. And it takes time, of course. So it's not something you can see directly. So the scientists are analyzing all these results, and we do several measurements over the flight and before and after the flight, and then we can come to a conclusion.
Hi, Andre. It's Christoph here. What has changed since your last day on the ISS, and which facilities do you use in Columbus?
Oh, a lot of things changed. Of course, when I came in, some things are familiar, like in the Western segment. Reinhold Ewald has been on Mir, and actually the Western segment is pretty much like it. The main module is still the same. Also, the oxygen containers, where Reinhold has some nice experiences with, they are there. But then the US segment is a lot bigger. Columbus wasn't there for my first flight. The Japanese module wasn't there. So there's much more room, and you can even get lost on the space station because there's no up and down. So if you go somewhere in the module and you come out in another orientation, then you don't know anymore where you are. Do you have to go left or do you have to go right? Because everything is upside down.
Hello, this is Michael, and my question is, how do you follow the results of the experiments you are carrying out?
That is not easy. You must imagine that a lot of experiments take a lot of time to analyze. And we work with a lot of scientists all over the world. Some experiments, like medical experiments, require a lot of subjects. So that means that if you're the first subject, it might take years before they have, for example, 10 or 15 subjects. And then it takes, again, time to analyze everything, to publish everything. So it might be that you get an article of an experiment that you did 10 years earlier or something. That happens. But that's science. You have to be very sure that what you do is correct, that you have enough samples, etc. So that's the people at ESA who take care of the science. They are in contact with the scientists and they get the information, and then it comes back to the astronauts as well, which is always nice to hear the results of what you did on board.
Hey, here's Lisa. Which operational task will be the most challenging during your mission?
I don't know yet. This afternoon, after this event, I'm going to work with the robotic arm for the first time. We have to work now and then to stay current. So that's a nice thing to do. And of course, the arrival of ATV-3 is an exciting moment. It's a fully automatic vehicle, but we are there to monitor it and to interfere if needed. So that's going to be very interesting. And on top of that, well, we have a lot of equipment, and some things may fail or need maintenance. And these can be interesting things to crawl under the racks and find all the correct cables and wires, etc. So there's a lot of interesting things.
Hey, my name is Sylvia. How often do you talk to your family and friends, and how does it work technically?
Yes, well, in the past, people boarded a wooden ship and go home for 3 years, and later it took maybe as long as that. Nowadays, we can talk with family over the phone. We have, if we have satellite connections, then we can just call via the Houston network. Not constantly, so there are gaps in between, but on a regular basis, we can make a phone call. And then once a week, we have a video conference like this, but then I can also see my family. So that's a very nice feature. So I can see my wife and children and friends who are then at home, and I can see them. So in that we have once a week. So that's very well arranged. I'm pleased with that.
Hi, this is Anne. What kind of support are you getting from the ground?
Well, a lot of support on a lot of different fields. You get technical support, of course. So if something's broken, you talk with the ground people, tell you where to find things, how to repair. That's one thing. You get medical support. So every week we have contact with our doctors to see if everything goes well and if there's no problems with the fact that you're in space. It's a really strange environment also for your body. And then we have the family support. So there are people who take care of the family and these kinds of things. They take also care that we get some bonus food on board, some nice stuff that you like to eat, that you get some films or television series or photos. So there's a lot of people working on the ground to make everything possible up here.
Hi, this is Lucas, and I want to know whether it was an advantage or a challenge to work with people from so many different cultures.
That's one of the nicest things of this business. First of all, I work in a European space agency. That's already nice. So there's a lot of different cultures, languages, different styles. And then on top of that, we work with Americans, with Russians, with Japanese, with Canadians, and that's really intriguing to see all these people who are very motivated, work together to make such a fantastic thing as the International Space Station. So for me, it's really a very nice thing to work with all those people, and I feel like a world citizen.
Hi, my name is Kai, and my question is, how long did you train for your mission?
Well, that's one of the things that is maybe less nice because you train for many, many years. The training itself is great, but you are very much away from your family, from your home, and sometimes you can only see them in the weekend, sometimes you don't see them for a month or 2 months, and if you go to space, it's almost a half a year plus the time that you are in Baikonur in Russia. It's a long period, but the training is great. It's very interesting because you go to all these different countries where they have the facilities. For Europe, EAC, where we train on Columbus and ATV, for example. So that is a very interesting aspect. Training is excellent. A lot of good people, a lot of good facilities, and it takes what is it? It's hard to say, but it's maybe 3 to 5 years that you are in training to become astronaut for your first flight, and then later on, if you have an increment, it's again say 2 years before you're ready.
Thank you, Andre, for your answers. We still have some time left. I see you in a very crowded environment. Can you describe briefly where you are and what are the instruments that surround you?
Yeah, this is our Columbus lab. This is our lab, your lab, and it's used very much. European lab. We have European regs here. I don't know if you can see it from that angle that we have, for example, the BioLab. Just above the camera is the FSL with an experiment GeoFlow running. On the left side, there is EDR, which I'm working on today. But here we have some other racks. For example, for medical research, we have a lot of interesting medical equipment in the Columbus. This is the MARES, European device measuring the loss of muscle force. And so all my colleagues are here as well, be it for an experiment, be it for a PEO event like this, be it for talk with the family. So Columbus is used very well, and it's a very nice lab with all the facilities in place, and very nice to be here. Good equipment.
We just heard about ATV-3 that will bring up to 6 tons, I think, to the space station. Where do you stow all this new equipment? It looks already full.
That is an issue. I agree. We just finished stowing all kind of old equipment, trash, just things that wrapping papers, etc., all the things that you get rid of, old clothes. We just filled a progress with that left yesterday, and then Friday is a new progress coming with new equipment, and then ATV comes as well. Yes, storage is an issue, so we try to be as economic as possible and stowing things in the right place. The problem is also, if you stow it, you have to know exactly where. The crowd has to know, because if you need it half a year later, somebody has to know where it is, because it's a very full house. And so whatever we can throw, whatever we are allowed to throw, we have to get rid of. Otherwise, we cannot enter the station anymore.
Andre, Michael speaking again. We are here on ground, especially in Astrium, looking very much forward to prepare ATV-3 for launch early March. So what will be your activities and your job to receive ATV when it's coming to the space station and docking?
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting. Together with my colleague Alek Kononenko, we will be there on the console in the Russian segment with the panels for the last stage of ATV. So we will follow it coming up, and the last stage we will be controlling it. We'll be monitoring on a screen the angles and the speed and all the parameters of the ATV. So in the very end, I said already, it's automatic. ATV takes care of itself. Otherwise, Toulouse takes care of it, control center there. And we are the last stop. Something goes wrong, which we don't expect because ATV was perfect. So it's an exciting moment. We are very concentrated to receive the ATV, and then it's very massive. It's a very big spaceship. We have to be very careful that it doesn't come too fast or in a wrong angle. But like I said, it has a very good reputation. And then when it's docked, we have to make sure that everything is tight. We go in, we secure everything, we get ventilation running and power. And then we install things like lamps and things like that. And then when everything is okay, then the big task of getting all the equipment out is starting. And after that, of course, we use ATV to get rid of the things that are broken, that are not used anymore, and things like that. So ATV will be a place where I will be a lot in that period.
Thank you, Andre. Time is running out. Please give our sincere regards to Commander Burbank and to all your crew members. Thanks for answering our questions. And from all of us here in Bremen, a big applause to all that you do up on board of Space Station with this marvelous equipment and with all the experiments that you described.
Thank you very much. It was really an honor and a pleasure to do this. And I I hope you had a good impression of how Columbus looks like and what European industry is doing here.
Station, this is Houston ACR. Thank you. That concludes the event.
Thank you, ESA, European industry leaders and students. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.